Ever wonder who actually gets richer during a financial crisis while everyone else is panicking? It feels like the world is ending, but for a select few, it's the opportunity of a lifetime. Today, we're pulling back the curtain to see who these people are, what they do differently, and the huge mistakes that keep most people stuck. So, who are these winners? First, you have the cash is king crowd. These are the savvy investors and corporations who built up massive cash reserves before the crisis hit, while others are forced to sell their asset stocks, real estate. You name it, pat bargain basement prices just to stay afloat. These guys are waiting on the sidelines, ready to scoop everything up for pennies on the dollar. Think of it like a Black Friday sale for the ultra-wealthy. They're not panicking, they're shopping. Next up, we have the short sellers. These are the folks you might have heard about in movies like The Big Short. They essentially bet that the market is going to go down. When the crisis hits and stock prices plummet, they make a fortune. It's a high-risk, higher-reward game, and it requires a deep understanding of market weaknesses. They see the cracks in the system long before anyone else does and position themselves to profit from the collapse. Then there are the businesses that thrive in a downturn. Think about discount retailers, repair shops, and companies that sell essential, low-cost goods. When people have less money, they stop buying luxury items and start looking for value. So, while high-end brands suffer, these businesses see a surge in customers. They're selling what people need, not just what they want. And finally, you have the government and central banks. Through bailouts and stimulus packages, they inject massive amounts of money into the economy. This can lead to certain companies and banks getting huge lifelines, effectively picking winners and losers, and often making the well-connected even richer. So, what's the secret sauce? It's not just about having money. It's about having a specific mindset and strategy. The winners stay calm when everyone else is freaking out. They are disciplined, patient, and they see opportunity where others only see chaos. They've done their homework and are prepared to act decisively when the time is right. Now, let us talk about the other side of the coin, the biggest mistakes that keep the average person from ever getting ahead, especially during a crisis. The number one mistake is panic selling. The market drops, you see your retirement account shrink, and your first instinct is to sell everything to stop the bleeding. But here's the thing, market downturns are temporary. History shows us that markets always recover. By selling at the bottom, you're just locking in your losses and missing out on the inevitable rebound. The people who bought your shares cheap are the ones who will celebrate when the market goes back up. Mistake number 2 is trying to time the market. People think they can sell at the absolute peak and buy back at the absolute bottom. The reality is, not even the world's best investors can do this consistently. It's basically gambling. A much better strategy is consistent long-term investing, what's known as dollar cost averaging. You invest a set amount regularly, regardless of what the market is doing. The third huge mistake is living beyond your means and having too much debt. When a crisis hits and you lose your job, high-interest debt like credit card balances and car loans becomes an anchor that can drag you under. People with a solid emergency fund and low debt have the flexibility to weather the storm without having to sell off their assets or make desperate choices. And the final mistake is a lack of financial education. The financial world can seem complicated and intimidating. So many people just avoid it altogether. But not understanding basic concepts about investing, debt, and assets is like trying to navigate a jungle without a map. You're almost guaranteed to get lost. The winners in a crisis aren't geniuses. They've just taken the time to learn the rules of the game. So, how can you start thinking like a winner? First, prioritize building an emergency fund. Having 3 to 6 months of living expenses in cash gives you a powerful safety net. Second, focus on paying down high-interest debt. It frees up your cash flow and reduces your financial risk. Third, educate yourself. You don't need a PhD in economics, but reading books, watching videos like this one, and learning the basics will put you miles ahead of the crowd. And finally, when you're ready, start investing for the long term. Don't panic, stay consistent, and let time do the heavy lifting. A financial crisis doesn't have to be a disaster for you. With the right knowledge and a disciplined approach, it can be a moment to build real, lasting wealth. It's about shifting your perspective from fear to opportunity. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content to help you master your money. See you in the next one.